What's up, bros? What's happening? What's going on? Welcome back to another product spotlight video. I am super pumped to bring you this video review on Mackie's brand new redesigned from the ground up Thump speakers. Yes, today we are taking a look at the 215XT Thump, and we're also going to be taking a look at the 118 sub. We have a 15-inch top and an 18-inch subwoofer that we are going to be taking a look at. And if you guys are a longtime viewer of this channel, you guys already know that I am a huge fan of the Thump speakers. Why? Because of value. If I could just use one word to describe these speakers, it's definitely that. Value. The reason why I recommend the Mackie Thump speakers is honestly because at the price point that they sell at, you are getting a great bang for your buck. The system that we're going to be looking at today is super affordable. We're talking about a full DJ system with 2 subs and 2 tops coming in at around $2,500. That is honestly a great deal. The Mackie 215XT is about $500, and then we have the 18-inch sub, which is about $800. The line, however, also features a 12-inch speaker, and is also a downgraded version that doesn't have as many features as the XT, so you can just get a regular Thump, and you can also save money there. Additionally, if you don't need as much punch, if you don't need as much sound, you could also opt to get the 15-inch subwoofer versus the 18, which means that you can get a system at a super affordable price. So in the high end, you're going to be around 26. And to put things into perspective, we're now entering an age where $3,000 for just the top is becoming the norm. Speakers are getting more and more expensive. Most modern DJ systems are running around 10 grand. So the fact that you can get a full system for about $2,500, man, that is just awesome. So I'm super pumped to bring you guys this review. So let's take a look at the speaker, and then we'll take a look at the sub. This is the brand new redesigned speaker from Mackie, and man, it looks good. This thing is rugged, built like a tank, as per Mackie's statement. I have actually owned a pair of Thumps. You guys actually saw when I bought those a while back. And they're a solid speaker. So we have a beautiful design, beautiful grill, Mackie logo right in front. So this speaker is not only built like a tank, it's rugged, but it's also super light. It weighs only about 32 pounds. It's super easy to maneuver and carry around. And that's something that I love, because the current speakers that I'm carrying around, they're about 60 pounds. To give you reference, that's about the weight of the subwoofer, the matching subwoofer of the Mackie Thumps. So about 32 pounds when it comes to weight. Moving on to some internal specs. This speaker is powered by a Class D amplifier, giving you 1400 watts of power, and that's going to give you an SPL, a max SPL of about 129 dBs. Now, do bear in mind that you're really going to be pushing this speaker when you're hitting, 129. The way these manufacturers get those numbers is, if at one point when you're blasting the speaker, if that meter hits 129, they can claim 129. So yes, it can reach up to those levels. However, I don't recommend you pushing that speaker up that high. Now on the rear, you're gonna have 4 voicing options for this speaker. You have a music, which is essentially your general all-purpose mode. It's just gonna give you more or less a balance for any type of music. If you're in a restaurant, if you're using this as like backgrounds or a fill, that's probably the voicing mode that you're gonna wanna be using. Live, verbatim, that's what it is. It's meant for live musicians. Moving down, we have club. This is my personal favorite, and when I'm giving you demos of this speaker, most of the time what you're gonna be hearing is club. It gives you a bit more punch in the low end and just makes the sound a lot richer, especially if you're trying to get people to dance. It gives you that boomy, that punchy sound that you need. And for you as a DJ, if you're like me, that sound that you love. And then last but certainly not least, you have your monitor option. Essentially eliminates the frequencies, those frequencies that might give you feedback when you're having a speaker pointed directly at you. So monitor is essentially a speaker that's pointed right at you versus pointed at the crowd. As far as your inputs go, you have dual 1/4 inch and XLR inputs. Additionally, this speaker also has an 1/8 inch jack. Now, this 1/8 inch jack is essentially an aux cable, which is something great, and it's something that we're getting more and more in speakers. However, I feel like that's been implemented a little too late because now speakers are coming out with Bluetooth. Yes, this speaker comes with Bluetooth out of the box. Now, there is a Mackie Thump version that doesn't have the Bluetooth feature. This one, the XT, does have that Bluetooth feature, and it's absolutely awesome. On top, we have a couple of other settings and a couple of other features, just quality of life improvements that they've implemented in this speaker. Again, Mackie is here to provide value, so they've added a ton of cool stuff, which some of you guys may use, some of you guys may not use. I found some of these very helpful. Start out with the outdoor mode. It's pretty simple. If you ever notice when you take your speakers outside versus when you're inside it sounds rich, it sounds fuller. It doesn't quite sound like that outside. The sound doesn't travel the same. So when you implement this outdoor setting, it's gonna give you a richer, punchier sound outdoors. Music ducking, for some of you guys who use Pioneer gear, it's essentially a talk over feature. Essentially, when you press that button, when music is playing and you talk on the microphone, the music will automatically duck down or lower. And then when you're done talking, the music will automatically come back up.
Another banger. Calm down, calm down.
Feedback eliminator, really awesome feature that they added, and it actually works quite well.
All right, so here is a demo of the feedback eliminator. As you guys can see, I'm standing right in front of the speaker. However, I'm not getting any feedback. Even if I stand super close, you can see the speaker is struggling, trying to kill some of those frequencies that would cause feedback, but it still sounds really, really, really good compared to other speakers.
And lastly, you have your front LED on and off button. So, ton of features, a ton of value packed in this speaker. Now let's talk a little bit about the Mackie Connect app. Now, I gotta be honest with you guys, whenever these speakers tell me that I can control them using an app, it's honestly, to me, more of a gimmick. It's not something that I really use. Sometimes it's a hit or a miss. Sometimes the connectivity isn't really there. However, I have to admit that Mackie has really refined the app. It actually works quite well. So I have the app pulled up here on my phone, and everything works in real time. Hopefully you guys can see it. As you'll see, when I start bringing up level 2, which is our Bluetooth channel, you're gonna notice that the speaker is gonna start to sound. This also happens in real time. Additionally, I wanna point out, there was no hassle in connecting this app. There was no Bluetooth or Wi-Fi's that I had to look or connect to. The app just found the speaker on its own. Additionally, I want to point out, this speaker is now connected to my computer via Bluetooth, but I'm controlling the volume and everything else on my phone. So this is wild. I love the fact that you can do that. So you can see there, I have full control of the app in real time. Additionally, I can change my speaker voicing modes right now on my music. I can switch to live, and you can see additionally how the LEDs on the speaker are changing in real time. If I go to club, it switches to club. Monitor goes to monitor. Let me go ahead and turn off the music. Additionally, on the app, you can link speakers, and this is super clutch. You can actually chain another speaker right to this app. As you guys can see there, right at the top, there's a little plus sign where I can go in and add another speaker. Now, what does that mean? That means that you're gonna get full stereo sound, a left and a right, without absolutely any cables. Side note, you will need a power cable, so just bear that in mind. All right, so now let's take a look at our sub. This is the Mackie Thump 118 sub. There's many similarities between the tops and the sub. Same matching grill, same design. We have the Mackie Running Man right here in the middle, and it's got that rugged, built like a tank Mackie build, and it only weighs about 66 pounds. We have 1400 watts of power, and this thing is super, super, super loud. It gets up to 132 dB. It also has a frequency response of between 30 and 150 hertz. Taking a look at the rear of the sub, we have a couple of different options similar to how we have on the top. So first off, let's start by taking a look at our high pass options, or our voicing modes, if you will. Flat, that's your general all-purpose mode for, you know, various types of music genres. Then we move on to deep. This, for me personally, is my favorite setting. It gives you a little bit more punch, it gives you tighter kicks, and just generally, as a DJ, that's where you want to be at. Now, moving on to punch, this is great for live musicians if you're doing live music, like if you're doing Latin, salsa, bachata, merengue, and if you're American, maybe if you're doing rock or even live music, punch is where you're going to want to be at. Then lastly, we have variable. Let's say you don't like any of those presets and you want to dial it in yourself. You're going to go right ahead and go into variable. Then you have this knob here, which will allow you to kind of dial in the exact frequencies that you want and how you want it to sound. In addition, we also have control of our front LED, just like we had on our speaker. LED on or off. I personally like keeping mine on. We have phase options. We have normal or inverted. And then we also have stereo and mono selection. Two inputs, A and B, and the cool thing about these inputs is that they have both XLR high pass out and a full range out, so however you like to wire your speakers, no problem. You know, some guys like to go in from their speakers down to their sub, other guys like to come into their sub, into their speakers, so you know, if you just want to send those highs out, you can do that right here, or if you want to send a full signal into your tops, you can do that as well. Alright, so now that we've discussed the specs a little bit, it's time for a bit of a sound demo. Now, I'm going to be using my personal preference as a DJ as far as sound. So, I'm going to be setting this speaker to club, and the sub, I'm going to be setting that to deep. Now, a little bit of disclaimer, keep in mind, if you do want to get a true gauge of how these speakers actually sound, you're better off going into a shop that actually has them where you can try them out, because what you're hearing is essentially a recording based on my camera, and it's not essentially a real grasp of how these speakers sound. I've done my best to choose multiple different tracks so that you guys can get an idea of highs, mids, and lows, and after we're done with the preview, I'll give you my final thoughts.
Baby, calm down, calm down. Yo, this your body, it puts in my heart for a lockdown. Ha, 1600 block. I just wanna rock. I just wanna Quiero comerte yo todos los días. Me enamorabas con lo que decías. Tenerte de nuevo.
Ya no sé disimular, llamo y no te puedo hablar, tu recuerdo no se va.
Dale hasta abajo que ese culo responde. Bebé, no te hagas, tú eres hombre. Yo no me dejo llevar de nadie. Yo solo me dejo llevar de tu sonrisa y del honor cerquita.
First off, let me just say, clarity is all there. Also, they've improved the low end, so, you know, the speaker by itself, if you're just going to be buying a speaker top by itself, it sounds great. They up the bass, so it's a little bit more punchy, so the sound is going to be a little bit richer, a little bit fuller. However, I will note, if you're playing things like reggaeton, or especially in the Lil Uzi song that I played, I felt that it just wasn't as sharp, the bass wasn't kicking as much with the speaker just alone. So that's where you're gonna need the sub. You're gonna be driving the speaker really hard, especially if you're doing punchy things like, you know, Jersey Club, like I would say that Lil Uzi song is, EDM. If you're doing reggaeton, the slower reggaeton songs, they sound great, but once it starts to pick up in speed, once the kicks start becoming a little bit more frequent, the speaker doesn't perform as well. That's where you're gonna need a dedicated bass. Now, when I was playing some of those regional Mexican songs, That's what sold me on this speaker. I was like, holy crap, it sounds so good. The drums, wow, it sounded like they were inside of my living room. The sax, super clear. The clarity in the vocals was fantastic. So when it comes to, you know, songs that have a lot of instruments, you definitely can, you know, hear the differences in the instruments, and you definitely get that variety. However, I found that when you have more electronic bass that's not live music, I did feel like I needed a sub. But can you do parties? Can you do gigs with just the tops? The answer straight up is yes. Would I recommend it? Probably no. You're going to be pushing them, and I did notice after a bit of testing is that the speakers will tend to fatigue. Now, that's not a bad thing. At this price point, they're going to tend to fatigue, so at higher volumes, you're going to lose a little bit of quality, which is why you might want to consider adding a bass. Now, keep in mind, it's still super affordable. We're talking about $2,600 all in for 2 subs and 2 speakers. I think that's a great deal, guys. Like I mentioned at the start of this video, $2,600, that's about the price of just one modern speaker. So the fact that you can get a full range system with, you know, features such as app control, Bluetooth, 1/8" jack, and a ton of other features like music ducking and feedback eliminators, that makes these speakers a great buy. Now, is it the world's greatest speaker? No, but you gotta think, it's a $500 speaker that you're paying for. But if we're comparing this speaker with another $500 speaker, this speaker is sure to give it a run for its money. Bros, thank you so much for watching this video. I do hope you found it informative. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, don't hesitate to leave them down in the comments below. Thank you, bros, for being so awesome. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like it. Be sure to subscribe if you're new around here. And don't forget to turn on that bell so that you can be notified next time we do another product spotlight video. Signing off, DJ Barr. Stay awesome, bros. Peace.